18 to 20% of the graduates. And this has been the case for the past 15 years. This statistic is truly unacceptable. And we need more women. We need more people of color in tech. I think the homogeneity of tech is really bad for tech. And RTC focuses on issues that hold the women back. And really the glue to rewriting the code is our community. And that's true for women, for men, for intersectional groups, international students, everyone. Everyone wants to feel like they're part of a community where they can identify with people who look like them, have shared experiences and similar backgrounds. And I think the exciting thing is that your generation has really come together as a whole to really lift each other up. I think that the hackathon is awesome. Hopefully you're all having a lot of fun, but it's also just a great opportunity to get to spend more time with people you already know and meet people that you haven't had the opportunity to meet yet. So the efforts that you're going through right now, the relationships that you're making are really relationships that can be there, into your future. So I think that with all of the challenges that are going on, this IvyHacks is a really bright light, and I'm so happy for all of you that you're participating in it.
Wow, thank you. I feel like during this time, it's often been the people that have helped me get through the worst. So thank you. I guess I have another sort of question based off of the RTC then. So how did you transition from basketball to, I guess, starting RTC? Is there anything, any connection between your basketball experience that carries over to supporting tech students, or?
Yeah, that's a really great question, and one that befuddles people sometimes, of how I got here. And as you read through my bio, I don't have a technology degree. I tried to stay as far away from that part of campus as possible. But I would tell you that my experience in being a collegiate student athlete has come up more in my mind in the past several years of working with college women in tech in particular. And just as a quick background, you mentioned that I played basketball at the college and professional level. So I grew up on Staten Island in New York City. I come from a really hardworking middle-class family and am a first-generation student. And when I got to Duke as a freshman, I couldn't have felt more out of place. Everything from socioeconomic to even my basketball was starting to really come into question, and I just really started to lose my confidence. And the group that got me through that was my team of 12 other incredible women who I really looked up to, and I felt like I was part of this incredible community. And I feel like that is, every time I came away from talking to a student and they described that oftentimes they start to lose their confidence and sometimes start to feel imposter syndrome and have to deal with biases. That was my experience. And I think that what we try and do fundamentally is give the women in the community a group of people who are just like them, who are going through the same things that they're going through. So I think I learned a lot about community and playing basketball from a very early age. And it's still kind of the glue to everything I do. And I think it translates really well to the challenges for women at the college level.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you. So what would you say then was the hardest part of starting the community?
I think the hardest part was trying to build a brand and let people know that we existed. We had wonderful computer science professors around the country, like Eva Tardes at Cornell and Owen Astrachan at Duke and others who are so passionate about helping their students. And they would let the students know that we were going to build a 12-month program to kind of be there every step of the way for the women who joined the community. We really started to get going when the students started to refer us to their networks. And you guys are a tough audience. I mean, if we weren't adding value, then I don't think we would have expanded. But I do think that some of the things that we do really do offer an impact. So we have over 9,000 women as part of the community and rewriting the code now. And it's really largely because of the women in the community that have really built this incredible organization.
Yeah. Wow. So where do you see it going in the future then?
I have really strong feelings about supporting all college students in tech. It's really hard. The major is incredibly difficult. And on top of the major, oftentimes, I think you feel like you have another full-time job with recruiting. And I think the recruiting process is incredibly broken. And we want to, particularly in these times of COVID, use these unprecedented times to actually challenge the system and some of the business models that have been put in place of how companies and students interact with each other. I think all too oftentimes recruiting equals interview. And that's not how recruiting should be. It really should be as soon as students, both men and women, arrive campus, there should be an opportunity to start to interact with companies. And it's not always with the purpose of getting a job. It's with being exposed to what is possible, what are those careers, what are the industries that really are attractive to everyone. You all are so well-rounded and have interests across the board. So how can you take what you're really passionate about in tech and combine it with something else that is a love? And that could be sports, it could be healthcare, it could be big tech, it could be, really an endless field of opportunity. And we never want anyone to feel like they have to go through that exploration by themselves. So we're going to challenge the systems. And I think that there are some people out there that are really starting to question some of how recruiting works. So we're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to work really closely with our student populations to create something that is much better.
I feel like I relate to that so much because coming into college, I feel like I only knew about like 4 majors and like maybe 10 companies. So that awareness I think is really important, especially when you're starting and you don't know. So what advice then, I guess in that case, would you give to college students in tech, especially right now during the pandemic?
Yeah, there are really hard times going on right now. And if you look at it from a macro level, you have all made such incredibly smart decisions in pursuing this field of study. The United States has literally tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of open tech jobs in the United States. I know sometimes it doesn't feel like that, especially when you're going through the recruiting process, but you really are our future, and we have to really start to increase the number of people who go into tech, stay in tech, and make a really big difference. So I think that this is just a really tough year. And I think 2021 is going to be tough as well, but it's going to get better. But I would say the number of jobs available, both full-time, early career, first jobs out of college, are really slim. I think in what I experienced, the tech companies seem to be targeting sophomores and juniors because they're looking for those interns that they want to convert to full-time. But I would just stay as resilient as you possibly can. There's lots of different paths that people can take. And I think one of the difficult ones is we all tend to come up with a path that looks like it's going to be our path. And again, it gets back to you are really incredible. And I don't I get very worried about students who associate their value with what's happening in the marketplace. And if you interview for a job and you don't get that job, it's really not a reflection of you. So there are less jobs. We're going through a presidential election, which either way is going to have ramifications in the market. So I just think you have to stay the course. And I would really open yourself to more possibilities than maybe you would have beforehand. Maybe this is the time to go and get a graduate degree, or maybe it's the time to look into different types of companies and positions that maybe you weren't considering 6 months or a year ago. But you'll get there. The place that you start off in is not the place oftentimes that you stay with. I have had three, if you count my basketball, four very major career shifts in my lifetime, and I'm sure there's more ahead. And I think just taking a step back and maybe giving yourself a break and understanding what you can control and can't control, and maybe being open to other options would be something you should think about.
That was incredible advice. And I feel like it doesn't help with the fact that a lot of, I guess, career fairs now are happening like online, and some are successful, some are not successful. Mm-hmm. So I guess I don't know if a lot of people have seen this, but RTC has been doing the notorious, I think, career fair. Do you want to maybe talk about that really quick as well?
Yeah. So about a year ago, we started this fun little branding campaign when Justice Ginsburg was getting a lot of kudos for her incredible career, being known as the notorious RGB, and we started to change that around to the notorious RTC. And we had a career fair really at the request of our student population in August. That was early, but it was very intentional to try and get some practice, get to meet some companies, maybe expand the lens of what you were looking at for opportunities. But now it's here. Like, folks really need to find those opportunities. And I'm really disappointed in some of the really established organizations out there and tech organizations who unfortunately are not making great decisions around platforms for these kinds of events. It's not perfect, but recruiting still has to go on. And I'm very disappointed to hear that Grace Hopper had really canceled the Career Expo. So as a result of that, we decided last Sunday morning on our second staff call of the weekend that we were going to do something about it. We're very well connected into the tech recruiting world now. And we've had well over 1,000 students sign up for this career fair. We think by the end there'll be 3,000 to 4,000 students who attend. And I think it's really important. In 5 days, we have over 15 commitments from tech companies to attend. And there'll be more in the next 10 days. But we really want to be responsive to what's going on in the market and really follow our mission, which is a nonprofit, I think is fundamental. And we really want to make sure that we are trying to support both the students as well as the tech companies, because they don't like it either. And they really just want to connect with incredible women and men. And so we're hard at work.
So one question that we have is that, do you have to be a part of the Grace Hopper conference to sign up for this career fair?
No, it is open to any woman in tech. So if you are a first through fourth year undergraduate, or you are a graduate student, it is open to you. You don't have to be a member of Rewriting the Code. Just anyone is welcome.
Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity. I went to the first one that you guys had, and that one was also a great chance to network and meet with companies that I wouldn't have the chance to as well. Great. So yeah. So I guess with something that's happening these days, what are some trends that you are seeing with the diverse candidates and companies, and I guess the relationship between the two?
Sure. This is a really sensitive and important topic. We live in a very racist society, and I think it has been an undercurrent for way, way too long a period of time. And I think the only positive result of things that have happened over the course of the past 6 months in particular is that it started a dialogue. And I think that that dialogue really actively still has to go on, because we really need to start to make changes, like substantive changes. And I think there are companies out there that are being held accountable now. And their boards have to change, their recruiting processes have to change. Big tech has to do a lot to change. They employ an enormous number of people, and some of the big tech companies have not moved at all in increasing the number of underrepresented men and women who work at those institutions, and it's wrong. But I would say on the very positive side, we have efforts within rewriting the code where over a year ago, there were 5 rewriting the code students. Destiny Nafor, who is probably known in this community a bit at Cornell, is one of those 5 women who really spent over a year trying to increase the number of college women who could come together. And because the numbers at each individual school are so small, by aggregating all of those women, we now have over 900 women in this community called Black Wings. And those women come from over 200 schools. We did the same with our Latina and Hispanic population. And we have now, we are just on the cusp of 600 women. So that provides a platform, and it allows us to talk to companies and challenge them. And I have to give an enormous amount of credit for Jerome Petty as well. What he has created with Color Stack is phenomenal. And I think individuals like Jerome, the student leadership at RTC, I think is really starting to get the attention of companies, because whether they like it or not, there's going to be change in the industry.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for students, maybe on what they can do on campus for this?
Yeah, I think you have to be as active as possible. No one really can be silent around this. And I think everyone has to express their opinions. I think during the recruiting process, you should challenge companies, ask recruiters hard questions, because it's one thing to get a job. It's another thing to thrive in the culture and the environment of the company that you're joining. And you don't want to be marginalized. Your voice needs to be heard. Everyone's voice needs to be heard. And we really need to have diverse work teams that are building our products and services for them to be the best products and services. So this is not a time to be quiet. I am challenging some major institutions myself who have spearheaded women in tech right now, but I think they're broken and they need to change. And I think at the local level, you can make those demands and opinions that you have heard.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes it seems like there's not much that an individual can do, but if you work with others and become a community or like work together, I feel like there's a lot. There's a lot of power, I think, even in one individual.
Absolutely.
Reminder, if you guys have any questions, to type them in the chat. We have about like 3 minutes left. I'll be sure to ask them. But another one too, I guess, that I have for you is, where do you see your career going after this?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to devote the rest of my career to helping champion equity and diversity issues. I think as a woman leader, especially when I was younger, I was so focused on moving my company forward. I don't think I paid enough attention to the women who were coming behind me and being an active role model. And what I have found is there has been an enormous amount of excitement from women who I talk to who are out of college, both recent grads and long-term grads like me, who feel really passionate that they really want to help provide a platform and an opportunity to impact the lives of men and women. And I know we have an organization that is very focused on women, but I also care very deeply about the men in this community. The recruiting for them has become so, it's just competitive for everyone. So I don't want to leave the guys out at all. And it's fabulous to have male allies be part of the solution.
Yeah, thank you for that great response. Any questions? Just looking at the chat. So I guess, Sue, since we have about 2 minutes left, any final words that you want to give to us college students?
Yeah, I mean, I really feel for you guys. I have 2 boys, one's in 8th grade and one's in high school, and my high school student is having a really hard time with this, and I'm really glad he's not at the college level right now. So I really can empathize with what's going on, but I would really just try and keep kindness at the front. It may sound coy or something, but I think it's a really delicate time. I think there's a lot of students who are struggling with mental health issues, both men and women who I have heard from. And I think sometimes it's important to realize you don't know what's going on with someone. And it could be someone that you know really well. So I think we really have to come together as much as we possibly can. This country right now is not in the best situation as far as camaraderie. And I think ultimately, you know, the students really need to stick together and really just try and help as much as possible. And again, I just want to give the IvyHacks leaders and the taken time to attend this, just incredible kudos, because this should be fun and it should be a learning environment and it should be a break from a lot of the stress that you have unfortunately had to endure. So just really just stick with it. Don't let life get you down. And I think you're all going to do just fine. I know this is significant right now, but this too shall pass, and hopefully it will pass quickly.
Thank you, Sue, for all the advice and all the words, and loved getting to learn more about you and RTC. It is 11:01 and we have another event right after this, but thank you, Sue, once again.
Great. Thank you so much for having me, and good luck to everyone. It was a pleasure having the opportunity to speak with everyone today.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a great rest of the day.
You did an awesome job.
Thank you.
Awesome job. That was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Yeah.
Fun on your bike ride.
Thank you. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to go put my biking shirt on now. All right. Take good care. Oh, and send me your mailing address, please.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye.